Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Guitarsenal. Just noodling around a little bit here in the intro. Today we're going to be taking a look at the really cool Spaceman Nebula Fuzz. This is an Octave Blender / fuzz that also allows you to get some cleans blended in there, which is really cool. The lead sound that I was getting in the intro, we are using a baritone Telecaster. One of the things about this fuzz is that it works really well for bass and guitar. So we thought for the intro we would meet in the middle with the baritone, just to give you some idea of kind of how it sounds. Hopefully that wasn't sounding too bad there. We laid down a loop with the TC Electronics Ditto 2 looper. And for the leads in the intro, we ran the Nebula with the 50% clean and effect added in there. We're going to go over the sounds a little bit, and hopefully we won't make her sound too bad. This particular fuzz, on a side note, is one of the limited edition distressed copper boxes that they did. They only did 8 of these. This is serial number 8. Otherwise, the guts are exactly the same as any other Nebula, but I wanted to mention this is a special edition. I saw it, and my consumerism got the weaker point of me, and I just had to have it. All right, just couldn't turn it down. But we got it set up. Going through a Magnetone M8 that's pretty much dimed, and with these big fat strings on this baritone, it really gets some crunchy sounds even in its own regard. Let's hear how that sounds. I'm going to disengage the Nebula. Got a deluxe Memory Man made in the 70s going as well. Let's disengage that. We'll hear just the amp. So the amp's definitely not clean. Let's add the fuzz back in. All right, this is 50% amp, 50% fuzz, set up on the Nebula. Pretty good sounding in its own regard. We're going to start noodling around with a couple of the knobs, and I'm going to switch guitars because baritone is a little bit of a bear to play. It's bear is in the name. I don't know. It's kind of got baritone. If you can, I don't know. Anyway, it's a horrible joke. Let me switch guitars. All right, so we broke out another Telecaster. This is just a 52 custom shop going into the M8, same everything. Here's the naked amp with this particular Tele. Pretty twangy. One thing that people were telling us on the M8 with this particular Tele is a little bitey, so I actually have the switch on the amp from bright to just standard. So hopefully that's got her sound a little prettier. All right, now with the Nebula, I'm going to dial out some of the tone because this thing can get a little bit bitey. Let's give that a listen. All right, so it gets this kind of like nice sound going on. I'm going to refer to the instructions and we'll go over the controls of this pedal and try to give you an idea of some of the sounds we get. I'm just kind of noodling here, guys. All right, straight from the instructions, Nebula is a unique circuit with a smooth IC fuzz at its heart. Blendable with this fuzz is a high octave circuit as well as a separate clean blend control. This allows for many interesting and unusual tones. The spectrum control is connected to the octave and fuzz circuits. Next to this control sits a toggle switch offering 3 tone shape options. The center is normal, I guess down is a mid scoop, and high is a high boost. Each position affects the sweep of the spectrum control. So I'm assuming that's kind of like a tone control is essentially what we would be looking at there. The emission control controls the gain of the fuzz circuit and allows everything from mild bluesy fuzz to thick harmonic laden fuzz. And then you have an infinity and harmonize toggle switch. If you set it to infinity, it takes the fuzz to another universe. In this position, lower emission settings offer mild-mannered octave fuzz, but when you turn up the octave, it collapses on itself and blooms into your sustain. Let's experiment with that just a little bit here. Okay, so emission control, actually that's the gain. We've got it pretty dang high. So let's see what they say and get back into the creamy territory. This density knob, it blends the clean octave and fuzz. So this blends the cleans and the effect. This blends the octave and the fuzz. All the way to the right is more fuzz. All the way to the left is more octave. Okay. So with the switch to the far left, it should have a little bit more of an octave kind of sound to it. And you can see the gain is on the lower end of the spectrum. Let's hear how it sounds with just the effect. This is no clean boost added in, or no clean of the amp. This is just the effect. When you do those double bends, you really get a little bit of an unison going in there. You can get some crazy sounds with that octave added in. Listen to the way this sounds. There's kind of low overtones going in there. All right, not bad. Let's get a little bit more fuzz and a little bit less octave. Let's leave the effect all the way over just because I really want to hear you to hear the effect. And let's get a little bit more gain. Let's leave the spectrum about where it is. Maybe a hair higher, leave the volume where it's at. See how this sounds. sounds nice. I like that. There's a lot of usable sounds in this pedal. We can't go through all of them. Now, if I want to get kind of this crazy thing going on, listen to this. So if I lower the density knob all the way and turn the spectrum knob all the way up, let's get into lower spectrum on the tone. It should have this kind of muffled octave kind of sound if I'm right. It's not, it doesn't really do with chords, but when you get that, that's just the octave. So you notice how I blended out some of the fuzz. Okay, there's no fuzz because that knob's all the way to the left on the density control. We only get kind of a Proctavia kind of sound. So if you want to take that Proctavia sound, pretty neat. Let's blend in a little bit more of the fuzz. I'll tell you what, let's get on the infinity mode so we get just crazy nuclear fuzz. We got the gain kind of high, the emission control. Let's get the density up about halfway, maybe a little bit less. Let's blend in a little bit less octave and a little more fuzz, a little more gain. This is going to sound kind of thrashy, and I'll tell you what, let me get the high boost off so I don't kill you guys and get the spectrum down a little bit. Let's listen to this. It's going to sound a little thrashy because this amp is cranked, okay? Not bad. I have to say I like it on this setting, on the waveform. I just wanted you to hear the infinity because it gets into kind of silly mode. Let's break this down a bit, get our fuzz a little bit higher, a little bit less of the octave, and let's blend in some clean. I think about right there is probably where I prefer it. A little more of a classy fuzz tone, But the beauty of this pedal, and I guess I'll leave you with this, I've been making a lot of racket here. This thing can kind of get into silly territory. The Nebula is a nice fuzz because it gives you a lot of options. And for those of you that like to tinker, and if you like to have the octave effect, it's a great way to get all of those things in one box. I have to say I probably prefer the Titan, and it's the Titan 2 from Spaceman, and its simplicity. That pedal's right behind me, right here. The Titan 2 is probably a little bit more up my alley in terms of simplicity. However, if you're in the studio, you're recording, you're trying to get a really specific sound, or you're wanting something a little outlandish and crazy, or in a moment, I'm going to have Chad play bass through this thing, let you hear how it sounds with the bass. It can give you a lot of different tonal palettes, so it's a great tool kind of in the toolbox for somebody in the studio. All right, let's listen to this, and I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. Well, I'm going to let Chad play bass for you here. All right, here's how I kind of think I like it set about right here. Yeah. It's still got some articulation for chords. It still responds well to your picking dynamics, and you've still got, if you dig in, you can really get some nasty crunch in there, which is nice. Let's clean it up a bit and just lighten up our touch here. Alright, get into the volume a little more, add a pick. Kind of get the idea there. That's the Nebula Fuzz. Let's hear it. So we've heard it with a baritone. We've heard it with a normal guitar. I'm going to let Chad play it with the bass, let you guys hear how it sounds, get some driving sounds out of it. Pretty cool stuff. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to demo the Nebula with the Kramer 450B. Very cool, old school, aluminum necked bass. Perfect for this application. Sustain for days with a fuzz. And we're running through the M8. It was already mic'd up, and it sounds freaking good. All right, let's see. Whoa, Nelly. What is going on?
Get in there. It's rock and roll, that's what it is.
Dude, it wasn't feedbacking like that a minute ago. All right, let's see. Let's get on that bridge pickup. Woo! Holy crap, that thing sounds good. Frickin' driving bass. right, that's with a pick. Let's see, finger style here. It's got a wicked sound to it. Let's see. I noticed earlier when I was just kind of messing around, it doesn't really give you the octave effect too much. I mean, this is only a 20 fret bass. If you had like a 24 fret and you can get on up there, the upper register, it might work. Does chords pretty good. Let's try this bridge pickup again here. All right. Let's see. Let's see if it works pretty good with harmonics here. Man, what a wicked sound. I think it's a freaking winner, man. What a killer freaking pedal. All right, let's see. Let's mess around a little bit more here. Let's see. Do. Let's see. Good God, let's turn that freaking gain down just a little bit with the emission control. Let's see. So what does this squiggly line over here do, Eric? What'd you say it does here?
Well,
emission control.
Turns the fuzz into crazy mode.
When set to infinity, okay, yeah. Lower emission settings, mild manner fuzz, turn on the octave, collapses on itself and blooms into your sustain. Let's see. Let me turn this thing to this lower setting so it's not so crazy, and just I'm gonna blend a little bit more of the clean in there. With the M8, it's not exactly clean because the thing is freaking cranked. Man, I'm just too close to this amp with this bass, and these are like humbucking style pickups too, which really shouldn't do that. But let's see. All right. Let's try like a softer touch and just see if it kind of cleans it up just a tiny bit. think it really shines with a pick. I mean, I think that's kind of the idea. If you're going to play a freaking bass with a fuzz or some sort of distortion, I think a pick is probably the way to go. I'm not really that much of like a rockin' bass player, but let's see. I think you guys get the idea. This pedal can do quite a bit. Sounds great on a baritone, sounds great on a Tele, and sounds pretty dang awesome on a bass. I mean, and we're playing this thing through a guitar amp. I did try it through the Mesa a little bit earlier, but honestly, the clean sound, it's a little bit too clean. If you've got a kind of a higher gain bass amp where you can really drive that input a little bit more and kind of get it a little bit juicy before you add this fuzz in there, it'll work pretty good. And if you have something like a 6-string where you can get up in the upper register a little bit and really get that octave effect in there, I think it would sound really cool. I don't have a 6-string with that high C string, you know, laying around, so I can't really demo that for you, but hopefully this gives you an idea of like kind of some of the different sounds that you can get out of this particular pedal. Spaceman Effects are making some awesome boxes. I mean, the Titan 2 that we've tried out, the Nebula, I mean, these are really great effects, very well made, very high quality, high fidelity sounds that you can get out of these things, and they work with a wide variety of instruments, as you can see here. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video and my god-awful playing here. So stay tuned. We post every Monday and Friday, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you make sure that you're getting access to our videos on a regular basis. And stay tuned, we've got a ton more on the way, and we'll talk to you guys next time.